travelers, Mag and I here on day 195 of our trip around the United States. Last night, we finished the day off in Laredo with the sunset and decided it was a little too early to stop our day. So we went ahead and pushed forward and got our way all the way through Freer, and then finally came to an end in Tilden, where we had a nice truck stop to stop off for the night and get some rest before kicking things off this morning. Today's route has us covering 200 miles out of Laredo, through Freer and Tilden, through Three Rivers, which we're in right now, and then up until we reach San Antonio. We are already halfway through our route for the day, and it's still early in the morning, which means we will be reaching San Antonio well into the early afternoon. So we're gonna have a lot of extra time today compared to what I originally thought we had. No problem at all. Our list of targets in San Antonio, primarily virtuals, is much more than we could handle in a day. So being able to get in early this evening is perfect for us, because that gives us some time tonight to work on some of the virtuals, and then the rest of the day tomorrow to work on all of it. Between the half day we're gonna have today and the rest of the day we're gonna have tomorrow, with a little bit of luck, we'll finish off all or nearly all of our targets in the city. Either way, we don't have that far left to go today. Only about 100 miles left to go. We'll hit San Antonio, and then we'll be free to geocache at our own pace until the day comes to an end. So let's get this party started. Come on, let's go.
Our adventure for the day begins in Three Rivers, nestled halfway between Corpus Christi and San Antonio. Having gotten a significant jump on our miles for the day out of Laredo last night, we had a little extra time on our hands, so Chen and I took a walk through the Hilbert H. Copland Memorial Park to start things off. It was a great way to help burn off her energy before we made the jump up to Pleasanton. Known as the City of Live Oaks and Friendly Folks, we couldn't resist the opportunity to tour the town a little bit, starting with the Freedom Center. Located immediately outside the library and Civic Center, this provides a safe space to walk around during events, sit at tables, and read a book. But the real treat of the day was getting to visit the Longhorn Museum, better known as the Birthplace of the Cowboy. Both Pleasanton and the museum are on land once owned by the Rancho of San Jose Mission and serves as a tourist information center. Directly below 50 years worth of Cowboy of the Year, you can pick up maps, brochures, and other information about Pleasanton or Atascosa County. So how did Pleasanton claim the name Birthplace of the Cowboy? The answer to this question dates back a full 5 centuries to 1493, when Spanish settlers who were accompanying Christopher Columbus brought with them a few longhorned Iberian cattle. Those cattle had made it all the way to the east coast of Mexico in the 16th and 17th century until they were brought to the San Antonio River by a missionary. By the mid-1800s, between 4 to 6 million head of wild longhorn cattle could be found on the open range of Texas, attracting many rough and tough boys ready to round them up and move them along the Chisholm Trail. Throughout the museum, you will find many displays celebrating this cowboy heritage. There are also several sections of the museum just waiting to be explored. Just beyond the main exhibit area, you can visit the safari zone to check out a ton of animals that have been taxidermied from the local area. Doing your best to ignore the eyes of staring predators, you can imagine yourself on one of these wagons, bumping and jostling your way along the trail. Taking time to read the many displays, you can learn about the history of ranching, home life, farming, and industry, from the arrival of the Longhorn cattle and Mustangs to the openings of the uranium mines, oil fields, and coal strip mines. You'll also be blown away when you step around the back of the property to visit the Jim Collins Windmill Collection. Collecting and restoring these beautiful grand structures since 1980, he recently donated the entire collection to the Longhorn Museum for display to the public. This is one of only very few windmill collections available in the state, including the Buchanan Windmill Collection, which we already saw in Spearman, and the American Windmill Museum in Lubbock. To finish off our historical tour of Pleasanton and the Longhorn Museum, we stepped into the retired SA-UNG Railroad, also known as the San Antonio, Uvalde, and Gulf Railroad. In the early 1900s, this depot and the rail lines intersecting through Pleasanton helped to put it on the map as the fastest growing town in the South. This depot has survived as a tribute to that legacy and also features one of the rail cars you might have found in the 1900s, still fully furnished, although it doesn't have any magnetic key holders on it. Fear not though, we were still able to find plenty of geocaches throughout the day, and all of them were micros. Some had us scratching our head for a bit until we were able to get to the root of the problem. Many others had us on the fence, but we were able to quickly decide where the geocache might be hidden and add our name to the log. I love the fact that even though all we were finding today was micros, they came in a wide variety. We rarely found the same type of hide twice. We were constantly bouncing between things like pill bottles and tree trunks, preforms on trees, and bisons hanging on the fences. The variety of geocaches we came across kept us on our toes and looking at each GZ for something new. By the early afternoon hours, we had geocached our way through micros all the way to the southern edge of San Antonio. Deciding to switch things up a bit, we stopped adding our names to logbooks and instead took a stroll down the El Camino Real de los Tejas National Historic Trail on the Medina River Greenway in pursuit of an earth cache. Having waded through scrubs and brush for the better part of the day, it was a pleasant change of scenery to find ourselves surrounded by trees along the banks of the Medina River. Still wanting to enjoy the greenery and the call of nature, we next made our way over to Confluence Park. This beautiful green space in the middle of an urban environment is considered as much of an architectural triumph as it is an environmental stewardship success. There are numerous informational displays here which will help you to learn how this park was built to work with the environment by utilizing unique design principles that catch, collect, and use the rainwater that falls on the property. And while San Antonio is certainly a big city, there are many green spaces to explore as you make your way along the Riverwalk. All told, the Riverwalk Park features 8 miles of linear park, over 16 miles of trails for pedestrians and bicyclists to be able to enjoy. While there are countless sights to be able to take in along the Riverwalk, we stuck to the spots that were pointed out by virtuals and earth caches, one of my favorite being the trip to the Espada Dam, the oldest continuously used Spanish-built diversion dam in Texas. Constructed sometime around 1731, the original dam was 70 feet long, built on a natural rock formation. It is fed by a 4-mile-long irrigation ditch, using a gravity flow of water to feed over 400 acres of land. To wrap up our adventure for the day, we visited a couple of the missions within the San Antonio Missions National Historic Park. These missions were integral in forming part of a colonization system that stretched across the Spanish Southwest in the 17th, 18th, and 19th centuries. Mission Espada, the very first mission in Texas, was founded in 1690 as San Francisco de las Tejas. It was transferred to the San Antonio River area in 1731 and renamed as Mission San Francisco de la Espada. The church for the mission was completed in 1756. The missionaries who lived here sought to make life within the mission community closely resemble that of Spanish villages and Spanish culture. Walking north of the mission, along a small portion of the Riverwalk Trail, we pursued a virtual which would bring us to a community public art sculpture. This community art project has brought together more than 700 people to tell 700 stories through 700 sculptures celebrating the UNESCO World Heritage Site mission San Francisco de la Espada. It is hoped that this artwork will help to communicate the story of the people of San Antonio and inspire many generations to come.
And it seems like, in no time at all, another day of geocaching out here in southern Texas comes to an end. To be perfectly honest with you, I kind of feel like I cheated a little bit today. Having pushed halfway into my route for the day last night put me well ahead of the timing I expected to have today. So instead of us being out in the desert for the better part of the day, moving through small towns, we actually only ended up doing that for the morning. We got into San Antonio just after lunchtime, and we've been geocaching around the city since. We knocked out pretty much all of our non-virtual targets around the south edge of the city today, freeing us up to be able to focus on just the virtuals and the earth caches that I've picked out in the city for our goals tomorrow. It should be a pretty good day, And with the lead that we got today, I believe we'll be able to finish our entire target list. Either way, it has been a great day out here, and it is fantastic to be in southern Texas right now. San Antonio is over 70 degrees right now. Rachel and I have been sweating and panting for the better part of the day respectively, and I could not be happier about this. I hope that this warmer weather sticks around as we stay around the southern end of Texas. It has been a great time geocaching today, and it is going to be a great time geocaching tomorrow, as we're going to have no miles to cover. Thank you guys for joining us on this adventure today. Like this video, subscribe to stay tuned for daily updates, and we'll see you out on the trails.